Yo, YouTube, what's up with your boy, Sports and Fitness Rants? I'm back, guys. Click that like button. Subscribe to my channel. What's up, y'all? Welcome back. Good morning. Good morning. I told you guys I'm on vacation, but the lies won't stop, so I'm not going to stop. We're going to keep it moving, and we're going to keep celebrating Michael Jordan, the greatest basketball player of all time. We're going to stop the lies about this man, about the era that he played in, and we're going to put his career in perspective. Hit you guys with the facts, man. And I want to thank you guys, as usual, for the comments, the subscribing, all the love. The comments that you guys leave, man, I read these comments, man, and most of you guys get it. You guys understand it. And remember, this is not about you believing that Michael Jordan's the greatest basketball player of all time or me trying to convince you. That's not what it is. Because I see you guys in the comments, some guys say Larry Bird's the greatest of all time. Some of you guys think it's Wilt Chamberlain. Some of you guys might think it's Kobe Bryant. That is fine. Whoever you believe is the greatest of all time, that's great. But remember, whenever we're comparing these players or we're talking about these players, things like that, we cannot tell lies about these guys, and we cannot tell lies about the eras that they played in. Speak the facts and let the players stand on their resumes, not lies and your opinions and stuff like that, guys. That's the base of my channel. Stop the lies. Doesn't matter who you believe is the greatest, guys. I believe it's Michael Jordan, like most people do believe it's Michael Jordan. But if you don't, that's fine, guys. But in this video, I want to talk about Michael Jordan's defensive moves. He had patented go-to defensive moves that he would use regularly against his opponents. And we're going to talk about some of those moves in this video, guys. And you guys know what to do, right? Turn the volume all the way up. Hit that play button. You don't have to watch my videos, guys. I know my videos are not super entertaining like some of these other YouTube channels with all these fancy graphics and all this cool editing and all. I get it. It's just me sitting in my car talking to you guys, man. But if you guys just put the volume up, hit the play button, and you just listen to what I'm saying, my videos are a lot more valuable than some of these other guys with all this editing and all this fancy stuff. The information's there. So let's roll. So yes, guys, I've talked about this in the past, Michael Jordan's defensive moves. Now, when we think about Michael Jordan, guys, we're often thinking about the offensive end, right? Because Michael Jordan's offensive game is unmatched. Unmatched, in my opinion, in NBA history. Michael Jordan could do things in such a myriad of different ways. But in this video, guys, we're going to talk about his defensive moves, not his offensive moves. His defensive moves. That's right, guys, his defensive moves. Michael Jordan had patented defensive moves that I would see him routinely and regularly use against his opponents. All the time, guys, not every once in a while. This is a day in, day out, game in, game out thing. He would use these moves to steal the ball, to block shots, things like that. And I don't want this video to go too long, but I'm going to focus on a couple of moves that I've always watched him do. Like I said, they were Michael Jordan, patented Michael Jordan defensive moves. I'm not saying that he's the only player that's ever done this, but what I'm saying is that Michael Jordan had go-to defensive moves that I've saw him use regularly against opponents. Regularly. Not many players have, go-to defensive moves per se, right? We always think about the offensive and we talk about go-to moves. But yes, guys, you may not believe it and you might think that I'm talking crazy, but he had go-to defensive moves, guys. So let's go over the first one, which is probably the obvious one. You guys probably will know what I'm going to go with. The first one is Michael Jordan's ability to block shots from behind, right? We all have seen the videos and we all know that Michael Jordan is considered the greatest shot blocking guard in the NBA's history. In the NBA's history, not Dwayne Wade, guys, not Vince Carter. None of these guys. It was Michael Jordan, not Clyde Drexler, not Reggie Lewis. Michael Jordan, the greatest shot blocking guard in NBA history. Now, when we think about Michael Jordan blocking shots, we often think about Michael Jordan coming from behind and blocking big men from behind. That's right, guys, big men from behind. Michael Jordan would routinely block these guys' shots because they did not see him coming. Michael Jordan was a great, all-time great help defender, a great team defense kind of player. Not just great individual one-on-one defense. Michael Jordan had all aspects of defense, which is why he was able to block a lot of these big men shots from behind. These guys did not see Michael Jordan coming. He had great instincts and great timing on these blocks. He's not blocking 6'5", 6'8" guys' shots. He's blocking legit 7'1" guys' shots. Guys like Patrick Ewing and Hakeem Olajuwon and David Robinson. I've seen him block some of these guys' shots, man, from behind. He used to get Patrick Ewing all the time. I told you guys I grew up a New York Knicks fan. I would watch a lot of the Bulls versus Knicks games. He would get Patrick Ewing routinely with those blocks from behind, man, routinely. But that was one of Michael Jordan's go-to moves. That's why he was able to amass so many block shots in such a short period of time, guys. At that position. Like I said, in the big man era, he wasn't out there blocking 6'1" guys' shots all the time. He was routinely blocking all kinds of guys' shots. Didn't matter if you were a center, a point guard, a shooting guard. If you were going to try to score and Michael Jordan had a chance to block your shot from behind, his instincts, his timing, he's going to go for it. He was very aggressive, guys. I told you that was my only knock on Michael Jordan's early career on the defensive end was his aggression. He was so aggressive. Sometimes he was too aggressive. He would gamble a lot, and he would go for these blocks. Sometimes he would slap guys in the head, slap their arms. He was an aggressive defensive player, man. But much respect to Michael Jordan's shot blocking ability, and that was one of his patented moves, guys, to block from behind. You guys seen the videos. You know what I'm talking about. Another go-to defensive move from Michael Jordan would be like, it's hard for me to demonstrate these guys. I'm just sitting in my car here, so I get it. But there was another move that Michael Jordan would do where, and I'm going to try to describe this so you guys could understand a little bit. Let's say Michael Jordan's going to play on the perimeter, right? The player would try to drive past Michael Jordan, right? Or drive into Michael Jordan, let's say. What Michael Jordan would routinely do, and he was great at this, was hollowing himself out. Almost like pulling the chair off a defender in the low post. You guys ever heard of pulling the chair off from someone, right? They're trying to back you down and bang into you. And when they go to bang in, you pull back and they fall, or right, pulling the chair out. Michael Jordan would almost do that in another way on the perimeter, where guys would try to drive into his chest or drive, into his weak foot, the foot that was back or whatever, try to get past him. Michael Jordan would hollow himself out almost, right, like this. And these guys would be looking for that contact, and when it wasn't there, they would kind of get caught leaning a little bit, and Michael Jordan was able to slap down the ball from these guys, poke it away as they were kind of falling a little bit. He could strip down the ball. You guys have seen that highlight of Michael Jordan against the Miami Heat, right? When he strips the ball from, I think, like Kevin Edwards or whatever, and then he comes down, weaving and going through the Miami Heat defensive players, and he slam dunks it, I believe, on Ronnie Cycli. But that was the play right there. He hauled himself out, stripped down the ball, and the guy turned it over, and he was able to take that in transition. That was a patented go-to move that Michael Jordan would use against guys like Joe Dumars all the time, Isaiah Thomas. It didn't matter who he was going. That was one of his go-to moves if you tried to drive into him. Another go-to move that Michael Jordan had was the poke from behind. Now, we all know that Michael Jordan had long arms and he had those really freakishly large hands. He used his abilities, his God-given natural physical gifts, great on the defensive end. That's why he was a great defensive player, guys. He had the physical gifts, but he also had the mind, he had the mentality, he had the will to play defense. Remember, half of defense, guys, is your want to. But Michael Jordan would poke the ball from behind a lot of times. Guys would try to drive past Michael Jordan, and he would almost let them go, right? Baiting them into this stuff, and then poke the ball from behind. Not only would he poke the ball from behind sometimes, but there were also times where Michael Jordan would just swipe it from behind. Like clearly just swipe the whole ball with those large hands, those long arms, swipe the ball away, and be off to the races and transition the other way, guys. You guys have seen the videos all over the place. These are Michael Jordan's go-to patented defensive moves, guys. I'm not making this stuff up. Go watch the videos. You'll see what I'm saying. It's right there. I don't have to play you guys these videos. You guys have seen the videos and you know what I'm talking about. You guys probably just didn't realize that these were Michael Jordan's go-to defensive moves that he routinely used against players. Routinely. And poking the ball from behind was one of those moves that he would do on the defensive end. And Michael Jordan would do this against a myriad of, it didn't have to be just perimeter guards. He would do this against anybody. I've seen him do it to big men. You know, big men think they have the lane, they go to dribble the ball, and then Michael Jordan slaps it away from them. You know what I'm saying? Michael Jordan was amazing in the passing lanes. Passing lanes, man. I mean, Michael Jordan's instincts, guys, that was probably his greatest strength on defense. The man had great instincts, and with those instincts, he had the ability, right? So he had the instinct to see the pass was coming and had the quickness and speed to go and get that and intercept that pass. Michael Jordan was a master at baiting players, baiting them, guys. That's right, baiting professional players into throwing passes, and then Michael Jordan would steal the ball. What am I talking about, guys? I'll give you guys a perfect example, and I've talked about this many, many times. Game 6 of the 1998 NBA Finals, guys. We all know how that ended, where Michael Jordan hitting that shot. Excuse me. But before that, the strip, Michael Jordan baited John Stockton into throwing that pass. John Stockton, one of the greatest passers in NBA history, one of the greatest playmakers in NBA history. Very underrated, John Stockton. Michael Jordan baited that man into throwing that pass down to Karl Malone. And what do I mean by baiting him? So, guys, you guys remember that play, right? Michael Jordan's basketball IQ, right, that never gets talked about. I'm going to do a video on that, I think, too. But his basketball IQ, what did he do? And what did he say? That he remembered the Utah Jazz running that same play, the play before. Right, so the Bulls had to come down and get a 2-for-1. Michael Jordan scored the lay, right, to bring them within one. And then what happens on the other end? Michael Jordan remembered the play. And instead of following Jeff Hornacek, right, through the lane there, right, across the baseline, what did he do? He baited John Stockton as he was going to follow Jeff Hornacek, and then he peeled back. And John Stockton, if he would have waited a split second longer, he probably wouldn't have made that pass. But he baited John Stockton, one of the great assist men. He faked him out, thinking that he was going to clear out. He came back. John Stockton threw the pass down, and we all know what happened. He stripped Karl Malone without fouling him, stole the ball, and then ended the game, right? And ended the world. Ended any doubt that he was the greatest of all time. That's what I mean, that Michael Jordan would bait players into doing passes and things like that. He did that routinely, guys. It wasn't just in games since the NBA Finals. That's just a perfect example of what I'm talking about against an all-time legend, John Stockton, and Karl Malone. Baited him into throwing that pass and then stripped Karl Malone. Michael Jordan was a master at baiting guys because Michael Jordan's reaction time, his instincts, and his quickness allowed him to do these kinds of things where people thought he was lollygagging or resting or not paying attention, and bang, he'd take the ball and go the other way with it. He would do it all the time, guys, all the time. So shout out to Michael Jordan, guys. To me, the greatest two-way player in the history of the game. I do not think anybody else is greater two-way player than Michael Jordan. There are other guys in that discussion, in that conversation that we could talk about. But to me, Michael Jordan's the greatest. He always performed at a high level on both ends of the court when you needed it most. I've talked about some other videos, guys. And Michael Jordan had great defensive moves. I just talked about those three, guys. There were other things that he would do on the court that you can consider like a move. But to me, those three things he did on the court, you can routinely see him doing that, guys. Routinely. Watch the games. Watch the film. Watch Michael Jordan on defense. And you'll see what I mean, guys. I'll catch you on the next one.